Well, guys, I wouldn't exactly call this a magnificent amaryllis display, would you? I have some live amaryllis bulbs here with no foliage and no bloom stalks on it. And I've been watering this since mid-November. And I started watering it in November, hoping that by the holidays I would have some blooms. But it appears I handled the dormancy period altogether wrong. And I have it figured out, so I'm going to try to force dormancy on these bulbs so they can store up enough energy to give me blooms later this year. So last year, around the holidays, all of these were in bloom. They were all new bulbs, and they looked like this. This is a new bulb this year that my friend Lori gifted me for the holidays, and I opened it up, and this is what I see. It's a bulb that's ready to grow. It's got some leaves, which will green up as soon as I put it in the sun, and it's got a big, beautiful bloom just waiting to grow tall. So this is what they all look like, and they grew into beautiful, tall flowers with foliage. One thing I did right was to leave it outside and let the foliage gather up a lot of sunlight, and that will give a bulb a lot of energy and help it grow. So my bulbs grew very large. They're filling these pots, but these were the pots they were grown in, and I did the lazy thing and just brought these pots in. Once the foliage started to die back in the fall, brought the pots inside, and once all the foliage died back, I trimmed it off and I just put it aside in a basement room and forgot about it. But I didn't take it out of the soil, and I also didn't cover it. And when I realized that I never got any foliage appearing and no bloom stalks coming up, and I have soaked these and I've watered them, and they're clearly green. They're all firm. There's no rotten bulb here. They're very firm, so I know they're alive. But once those things didn't appear, I sat down and I sort of reviewed with different sources on the internet why my amaryllis might not have bloomed. And I think the big key factor here is I never put them in the dark. So they never completely shut down in order to have the rest they needed to produce a bloom stalk or any foliage. And they need a lot of energy to do those things. So I think the key element that I did wrong, and I thought we could all learn from my poor example, the key thing I did wrong was not to put them in the dark. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop watering. I'm going to cover them up so they completely don't have any light. And once I come back in 2 weeks and see that the soil has dried on them, I'm going to shake that soil off and keep them in a bag for at least 2 months, maybe 10 weeks. And then I might try to plant them up again and just have amaryllis at the wrong time of year. And we'll see if it works better that way. But what I realized is I really didn't give it the required rest it needed. After producing flowers last year, it needed a break. It needed to kind of rebound and regroup. But look, guys, they're big, beautiful bulbs. They're firm. There's nothing in here that's rotting. They are just simply refusing to grow. They didn't get enough rest. They needed that dark period. So I'm going to try, although it's belated, to try to do the dormancy period correctly, and we'll see how it goes. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and soak this bulb, the bottom part of the bulb, for about 13 hours, and then I'm going to plant it up. This is what, this is a nice little kit here. This is an amaryllis bulb kit with a red lion, and this is what I'll end up with, and I know this is what I'll end up with because I did these last year as new bulbs. So let me show you what they give you in a package. They give you an appropriately sized pot, and with Amaryllis you don't want a pot that's too large. You really don't need that much soil around the roots because all of what the plant needs is in the bulb, and so you just, you know, need a little bit of soil around it. But in this case they give you the pot and the sprouting bulb, obviously correctly put into dormancy. And then this is a cocoa coir pellet, and this just needs to be put in a 2-quart container with 1.5 cups of warm water. And once that rehydrates, it will fill, it'll be enough to fill this pot around the bulb. And it's just like a little, it looks like peat moss if you haven't worked with it before, but it's very easy to use. So cocoa coir is just, you know, from coconut husks, and that is a renewable resource, so you can feel pretty eco-friendly using that. But these roots will go ahead and set themselves into that cocoa peat, and I will have one beautiful amaryllis to enjoy. So thank you so much, Lori, for giving me my amaryllis, because the spectacular amaryllis show will be happening, I hope, later this year. So guys, if I keep these in the dark and dry for about 10 weeks, I'm hoping I'll be able to show you a wonderful display, but definitely don't handle it the way I did this year. I have had luck before in unpotting my amaryllis and keeping them for a couple months in paper bags, but this year I didn't do it. I got really lazy. So I'm hoping that these survive my error. This is what I can expect from my one bulb, which as I said, I'll be planting up. So thanks so much for watching, and if you have any tips to give me, let me know. I never like to put up these failure videos, but I think they're good learning experiences, and it never pays to take the lazy way, guys, and here is the proof. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.